sights to show you.
Hell yeah.
Welcome to the Horror Syndicate Discourse. I am one of the hosts of the show. My name is Ray, or you can call me Razor, as it says right there, Razor. We're here tonight, and we're going to talk about Drag Me to Hell. I think it's a 2009 film, Sam Raimi, which when I saw it, a lot of people gave it a lot of crap. I thought it was a lot of fun. I still think it's a lot of fun. We're going to bring the panel of guys in here with Jared, Nate, and eventually Seth. But this movie is just out of control fun, in my opinion. And I love that it's kind of simple if you think about it. It's about a bank loan officer who denies the wrong person an extension, and wackiness ensues. So if you love Drag Me to Hell, stick around and tell us what you love about the movie when we discuss it. Also, there's one thing I keep forgetting to ask everybody. Just subscribe. Oh, yes, that's right. Subscribe to Horror Syndicate on the YouTubes. And, of course, if you don't already follow us on Facebook, you're watching us on one of the others. So follow us on Facebook as well, as we've got a lot of stuff going on over there. We've already got comments rolling in. But I got to introduce my peeps. So first, I'm going to introduce Nathan. Nate, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm back.
What's that shirt?
The Wall, Pink Floyd.
Ah, okay. I saw Pink Floyd as soon as you. Nice. I got the greatest band of all time on my shirt.
Rat Mouse. Oh, they can't compete with Rat Mouse.
Yeah.
Or Mouse Rat or whatever it was.
Mouse Rat, yeah. Anyway, let's bring Jared in. My spooky brother. What's up, bud?
Welcome for joining.
Oh. A throwback. What's your signal okay there, or is it me?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you went in and out for a second. Oh. We got a few comments that threw up. Happy Horror Day. Is every day a horror day?
I was going to say, that's an everyday thing.
We just heard that he might want to do a sequel, yes.
Yes.
Perfect
timing.
That show, The Walking Dead. Yes. Anyway, so yeah, we're talking about Drag Me to Hell tonight. And before we get started into some segments, like to get your guys' impression without Jared, do you have your stuff for your segment today?
I do, yeah. I don't have very many because a lot of them were just like goofy continuity points that would just kind of poke holes in it. But
I watched on my Scream Factory Blu-ray, I watched a interview with Alison Lohman, is that her name? And and then the woman who plays I can't think of her name. I saw her, the rover, so I can't think of her name anyway. And she just had a black, it sounded like. But anyway, I like when I first saw this, like I said at the top of the show, it seems like a lot of people kind of gave it a lot of trouble. What were you guys' first thought when you saw it, Jared? And we'll go with Nate.
Initially, I was kind of like the initial audience's reactions. I wasn't really that stoked about it, but like immediately after a second viewing, it felt more and more like it felt in the Evil Dead realm, Dead universe that Raimi had going, which we can obviously get into a little bit more. But like after the second viewing, I was all on board. It's a good fun flick.
Yeah, it is. A lot of fun, and it's a Sam Raimi movie, you know. I think there's a couple elements that I'll mention that could take you out of it a little bit, but I also love hearing those two women talk about working with Sam Raimi. Nate, what about you? What were some of your first thoughts? Do you remember when you first saw it?
Yeah, I liked it right away. It was to me a return to what Sam Raimi started with. It felt like I said, an Evil Dead movie. It's it had all of his classic tropes and genre bending, tone, across the board, Sam Raimi stuff that he's one of the few people who can pull it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by the way, this man here loves the movie Lamageddon and calls it the best horror movie
Who
ever.
said it was the best movie ever made?
No, he just says Lamageddon. He's been doing it for weeks on our page. It's funny. Like, it's not as good as the best horror movie ever made, Lamageddon. Anyway,
Lamageddon.
I've never heard of it until he mentioned it. I don't know if it's even real. Or he made it.
Unproduced screenplay he's got.
Yeah, but yeah, like I heard that the script wasn't completely done, and there was a lot of ad-libbing in this one, and Sam Raimi was doing stuff on the fly. So that's kind of exciting. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about people working with Sam Raimi, and I love hearing stories about him. Not like talking to him probably is fine, but I love hearing other people's accounts of the way he acts, which is weird because you look at Sam Raimi, and for the most part, he's dressed nicely and kind of looks like a serious guy, but he sounds like a clown and a fun guy to work with on set.
Yeah.
So I didn't make it. It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay. What's it called?
Lamageddon.
Lamageddon.
I think that's what, or no, a Lamageddon.
Lamageddon.
Yeah.
Anyway, is it anything like Birdemic?
That's what I'm wondering. I keep coming back to Birdemic in my head, so maybe I should do a 5-star rating thing for the page for.
It just may be the best horror movie ever made. We just don't know.
That's.
Oh, there's a llama with laser beams coming out of its eyes.
I'm told. I'm told.
Okay, yeah, and a jacuzzi scene. So.
Okay, so that's our next time we do a.
It's only an hour and 9 minutes. So.
Oh shit, man! We should do a.
We could
breeze through to watch. It's on Amazon.
Breeze through that.
All right, we gotta do that.
It was made by college students in 2015. Terrible B movie, but it's fun. Yeah, maybe we used to do commentaries on this channel all the time. Maybe we'll have to do a commentary, live commentary of Lamageddon. Anyway, before what name?
Someone had a llama and said, "Let's make a movie."
Let's do it. I went to a llama farm.
Tina, come get your dinner.
Big fat lord.
Eat the
food. We're not just horror fans. We like everything. Jared, you want to go ahead and give us some tips, or not tips, tidbits and trivia?
Yeah, I got a couple for you.
Okay, because I don't want to, I was about to spoil something that you might say, so let's do that.
That always cracks me up.
I like it.
In the director's chair. I only have a few of them because, like I said, a lot of them had to do with continuity goofs and stuff like that, and I don't really like messing with those. But I did find, one of the comments already said below, Raimi did try to use the 1980s version of the Universal logo because that was the logo he used with Evil Dead. So that was kind of a throwback. That's a fun tidbit. The actress, Alison Lohman, did almost all of her own, which I'm not sure how many stunts she actually had. But I'm assuming most of them were in the grave and in the
car
scene, probably.
They have quite a few fight scenes with this chick.
Well, also that scene where she's hung upside down, I think she was actually being hung upside down for some of it. Yeah.
That poor kitty cat.
Yeah.
This one I thought was actually kind of interesting. This was a credits thing. Raimi used the song called Rock Ballad, which is an unused theme song from the original Exorcist. And that played at the end credits. I did not know that. I thought that was very cool.
That's really cool.
Very interesting. Like I said, there's a lot of them that you can dive deep into that have to do with continuity, like cuts where she's wearing rings on the right finger and stuff like that. But the last one I'm going to leave you guys with is one that I think you all will appreciate. The Oldsmobile that Sivia Ganush was driving is the same Oldsmobile from Evil Dead.
And the Dark Man and all Spider-Man. It's in almost all his movies.
It's pretty much showed up in every movie he's ever done except for
Quick and the Dead.
Quick and the Dead, obviously, For Love of the Game, and The Oz and Great and Powerful. So I thought that was pretty cool that car's still up and running.
Yeah, that is really cool. One of the things I was hoping you mentioned was one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when she's at the bank and she starts to get a nosebleed, and it just like it starts bleeding out of her mouth and then sprays all over the manager. He's like, "Did I get it in the mouth?" Yeah. So apparently, originally that was just supposed to be like a leaky nose, but Sam Raimi's like, "No, let's try this," and she had to keep doing the blade, and it just it sounds like a lot of fun to be on set with a guy like that. Yeah. So this
it just reminds me of how he treated Bruce Campbell on
that's
set.
what she said, actually.
Piling shit, throwing blood, throwing maggots, and throw mud, all that. I mean, he would put Bruce through hell. It almost looks like he did the same thing to her.
She said that to him, or I mean, he said that to her. Now you know what Bruce Campbell went through. Yeah. And it's funny because if you look at some of the things that she did go through, a lot of that did happen to Bruce. The blood, maybe not exactly the same stuff, but it's really funny to think about that she got the Bruce Campbell treatment. That must mean he likes it. Plus she was saying it was terrible because he would do all these things to her and he'd be off in the background laughing. I love it. I mean, that's just like a kid playing with his toys, which is kind of fun. But yeah, I kind of agree with Jared in a sense. I saw this movie and I guess I fell in with the crowd thinking, oh, it wasn't that great. But then I watched it again a few years ago, and I was like, holy shit, why didn't I like this? This movie's fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's a fast watch too. It goes by really fast. Plus, you gotta love that Justin Long's in it as well, who I called Justice Large, by the way, in the chat, and nobody said anything. I was just trying to be funny, but I'm not funny. So anyway,
I did see one other.
I guess
cool trivia thing was that Sam wanted Edgar Wright to direct the film originally, and Edgar was busy doing Hot Fuzz at the time, so he said he didn't think he was the right guy to do it anyway. So I guess Sam wasn't really planning on doing it. Maybe that's why he did it off the cuff, because he had to kind of, maybe the time wasn't like he decided at the last minute, all right, I'll direct it. Because it is kind of a step backward for where he was, because wasn't he coming off Spider-Man?
Yeah, Spider-Man.
It was after Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was a couple of other ones that I kind of forgot about, but Sam and his brother Ivan actually started writing the script for this right after the last Evil Dead movie.
Army of Darkness?
Yes, Army of Darkness. Jesus, I'm totally flaking on that. Yes. So they initially started writing the script right after Army of Darkness. So I have a feeling like they maybe wanted this to kind of be in that Evil Dead realm, possibly.
That was going to be a question of mine. It'd be nice if there was a Evil Dead shared universe and this was in there, because it definitely has the feel of that world, doesn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, even like the dude when he gets possessed and he's like dancing in air. It feels like a Deadite,
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, like the Book of the Dead, it just seems like a lot of similarities between that and the spirit world. Plus, if you get into Ash vs. the Evil Dead, there's some, I don't know, it just feels like it could all connect. And if there was ever a second one, which I'm sure Sam Raimi wouldn't direct, get Fede Alvarez.
Did you know about the controversy that it kind of rips off that 1957 Night of the Demon movie?
I've never seen that. Have you seen that one?
I haven't.
Yeah, it's called Night of the Demon or Curse of the Demon, and it's almost identical. It's about this guy who it starts off with this doctor who is trying to expose this other doctor who's accused of like being the head of a satanic cult. And he gets a piece of parchment with a rune or like runes written on it or something. And sure enough, a demon comes and takes him. And then this other guy who was coming to help him gets the curse put on him with the piece of parchment. And he says, in 3 days, you're going to die. The demon's going to come and kill you. And the guy does in the beginning, the demon comes and kills him. And it's pretty cool for 1957. It's a pretty creepy movie. Yeah, and in the whole movie, he's skeptical about it. He doesn't believe him. And then, oddly enough, at the end, 3 days later, the demon does come, oddly enough, on a train track.
Really?
Yes. And apparently they
wow.
didn't give the movie any credit or anything like that, but it's pretty obvious in some ways. You can watch it's not streaming anywhere. I bought a DVD of it.
Yeah.
I bought a DVD of it at a convention years ago.
I've seen this before. Not seen the movie, but I've
seen
like
the demon.
Well, no, I've seen the poster for it before. Actually, oddly enough, I saw it when I was trying to get some of these posters. I passed through it. I was like, "Oh, that's a weird looking demon monster thing." But yeah, I'd definitely like to check that out.
It's a good movie. It's actually really, really well made.
1957, and it's directed by Jacques Tourneur. Is it French or is it?
It's in English.
Okay. Oh yeah, British horror film. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Definitely sounds like something I'd like to check out. Jared, did you say you've seen this?
No, I haven't.
Oh wow. There's two versions. There's a 96-minute pre-release for the UK version, then the 82-minute American version. Interesting. Maybe that's you've seen it, Nate?
Yeah.
Damn it! I was going to say maybe that could be one of our shows where we don't.
Haven't
seen the movie.
We can still do it. Yeah.
Well, let's do it. Let's try to seek this one out.
We've done an episode where I've seen one of the movies before.
Yeah, he'd seen the was it The Key or
Your Vice is a Locked Room?
Your Vice is a Locked Room. You'd seen that.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See if I can get a copy.
And Lamageddon or whatever.
Yeah, Lamageddon, of course. Indicator has a Blu-ray of it that is available. I'm kind of curious about that. I might just drop the $20 on that. Sounds like something that'd be right up my alley. Anyway, let's get back to that's fun trivia. I like hearing things, the trivia and tidbits. It's a lot of fun. I tried to see if I could find any last night when I was watching the interviews, and I got to tell you, the lady who plays Ganush is amazing because you can't tell that's her at all. She was awesome, and she such a pleasant woman talking about how it's not in her wheelhouse to do a horror movie, and she absolutely murdered this role. She was awesome. Yeah. She was my favorite part of the whole movie, especially, and a lot of it was there, life casts of her head and stuff like that. But whenever she's like I think that was real when she was had her mouth on Alison Woman's mouth, and then whenever she sees her dead corpse, it falls on her. All the
embalming fluid
comes out. It's like, God, this movie's gross, and it's not because of the bloody. It's just all this other shit that Sam Raimi is putting on this girl.
Yeah.
Nate, do you want to get into your segment, or you want to start with? Let's start with one thing I wanted to mention, if you don't mind.
Go ahead. We don't need to jump segment to segment.
Yeah, because I forgot to make a thing for it. The score. I was going to say the score was awesome.
Christopher Young.
Yeah, it took me back to, I don't know. It reminded me of something, and I'm listening to it.
It reminded me of Scream a bit.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was. There's a few compositions in there. I get like you sound like you were about to say the same thing. Like I kept hearing it going, this sounds like something else.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that haunting kind of voice, it's like human voice kind of part. I was like, where is that from? I have heard something similar to that. I think it's a Scream. I think it's a Scream movie.
Yeah. I feel like maybe The Frighteners also came to mind. The score reminded me of something Barry Peter Jackson as well. So it's a great score. I never really paid that much attention to it last night until we get the opening credits. And like, oh man,
I really did the Hellraiser movies and Nightmare 2.
Was it the same person?
Christopher Young, yeah.
Oh no shit.
He's a Hellraiser composer.
Yeah, I liked it. It's something that didn't catch me the first time, but so that was just something I wanted to throw out there because I thought I made one of the things for it, but I didn't. Let's talk about we already kind of touched on the cast. I want to talk about the main two cast members, and then there's Justin Long, of course.
Yeah, I really like Allison in this. She's.
I don't remember seeing her in anything other than this. Honestly.
First thing I saw her in, she was matched in Matchstick Men. She was Nicolas Cage's daughter in that.
Oh, she was young in that, though.
Yeah, she was young, but she, it was only a few years before this, like 5 or 6 years. But she was playing younger. She was playing like a teenager. And then she did a few, like I think she did White Oleander, and yeah, she didn't do a whole lot. I haven't seen her in a long time, but I thought she was really good in this.
Oh, she's older than I am. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm looking to see if the 13th Floor. I've seen that, but she has a small bit part. It looks like I've never actually seen.
She's older than we are.
And she's like my sister's age, I think.
79.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
she was 30 when she did this.
I haven't seen the 13th Floor in freaking forever.
Yeah, that was a weird movie. I gotta make sure I put that on my list because that
was a good one.
Yep, that was a good one. Yeah, it's a really strange film. I wonder if that's streaming anywhere because I haven't seen that since probably at that time. But Lorna Raver is the one that really kind of stole this movie. Even though Allison went through all the different stuff with that grave scene is so fucking awesome. Yeah. So is the car scene. But the car scene's both of them. And they had they said they filmed that over the course of 2 weeks, which sounds insane that they spent that much time on, that scene, which you've got the lead up for your segment. But the actual, inside the car fight, when she hits her face on the dashboard and her teeth go flying.
Yeah, this is Raimi. Like, I'm not going to talk about that section of it because it's so much. Because Raimi, when he does action, he does a lot of setups. There's a lot of cutting. He has a frantic cutting style. And so that's a lot of setups. So I think that's probably why it takes so long. Not just the stunts, but the practical effects involved. Which is up. There's CG in this movie, but there's a lot that you think, like the nosebleed looks like it could have been CG, but it was practical. There's footage of Nicotero hooking that up to her nostril and having it shoot out and everything. Coming out of the mouth may have probably been digital. Like there's so much blood coming out of her mouth, but I don't know. It could when she just, oh my god. But yeah, there are so many working pieces in the fight, and then you got all the car. I mean, the car crashes twice in the parking garage, and there's a lot of pieces, a lot of moving pieces there. That
angles and camera angles and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Plus the beating that the old lady takes, she gets like a stapler in the eye, a ruler down the throat.
Which that would take. Like they'd have to change her makeup every time she got a staple, like part with the eyes, her eyes stapled together, and then it's not, and there's a lot of working pieces there.
Raimi seems to put people through stuff, like I mean, like just the cost, like that nosebleed scene. Like I said, she had to change her clothes a few times just to get it right, and I'm like, man, I wonder how many times they did it in Evil Dead 2 when the wall's shooting all the shit out at Ash, but yeah. That garage scene is one that really stands out. But for me, like I know a lot of people talk about that scene, but I really love that grave scene at the end.
Graveyard scene's awesome. She looks awesome. Like when she's looking down at her.
Oh yeah.
She's like all the mud on her, and she's like.
She just sticks that "I give this back to you" or whatever, and jams it right in her mouth.
Kicks her jaw, kick her jaw shut. She does.
And then she tries crawling out of the grave, and the rocks fall down, and then. Ganush's body's just bobbing up and down, like kind of attacking her. It's a
great Sam Raimi comic.
Yeah.
Apparel, like you're like, all right, she's won, she's getting out, she's climbing out victorious. Nope, you're getting dropped back in there. It ain't over. You're gonna drown, and then the body's floating around, and
it's like the stuff that he put her through. It almost reminds me of what they did in Evil Dead 2013 to Jane Levy. Put her through the ringer completely. I think Levy might have gone through more, but rained blood on her for like a few days. But like that, I do really like when I knew that scene was coming. My biggest problem with this whole part is the weight of a coin versus the weight of button. That kind of bugged me. Like, but I guess to get to that end, because the ending is also amazing. It's a CG moment, but I still think it's really, really cool. The train's coming. She thinks maybe she's gonna get hit by the train. Nope, the fucking bottom, the ground starts opening up. I love that. I thought that was
ending
great.
is so fucking cool.
Yeah,
it's one of the best endings, and I just love that. As soon as it's in, it's just black title. Drag me to hell. Like we followed through on our title. She got chugged to hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I wanted to ask you, this was going to be a question of mine, even though me and Seth switched the segments around, but like the button, Justin Long ends up with the button. Now, it wasn't gifted to him because apparently it's got to be gifted, but does that give him the curse then? Or has it been settled with her?
Because she's still hers.
She never actually gave it to him. He just had it in his possession.
And he found it to give it to her. He gives it to her. It was
still hers.
Too, right?
Yeah.
Or he's holding it up for her. I don't know.
He was like, we mixed up the envelopes, and he gave it back to her.
The sad thing about that is he's not going to get that coin back. It's with Ganesh.
Yeah. Nope.
That's the devastating thing about this movie,
It's in her mouth.
But, yeah. So before we get into your thing, Nate, I want to go over the story a little bit. We've been talking back and forth about the story. I love the way this woman looks. Like I said in the opening, it starts out where, the loan officer, well, it actually starts off in the past where you get to kind of an idea of what, they're dealing with a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like the introduction of Ganesh. Allison Lohman's up for this promotion, and she's got to make tough decisions, and right away she makes it on the wrong person. She looks terrible. Her freaking eye is blind, and it looks like she's got one of those ring lights shining in her eye the whole time, that you see with the YouTubers and stuff. And then she begs her, and she even kisses her skirt. I don't know if you caught that, but she kisses her skirt, and she's like looking pathetic, and then she's like, no, and she totally shamed her. And it's like, God, the first time I remember, what's she gonna do to her now? Because she's gonna do something. But that, I tell you what, man, that Lorna Rover, just how is she not doing more? She was amazing in that role.
I guess if we're talking about this plot scene right here, this is a double-edged sword scene. This little old lady has obviously asked for an extension more than once on her loan. I worked for a bank for 15 years. I was never a loan officer, but I know how all that stuff works. But, there's only so much you can do for a person. And, obviously she chose the wrong person to do that to, but giving her a third extension is not going to help the matters either way. So obviously she was making a decision that a manager would make at a bank, a normal person would do. It's as shitty as it is. That's the way loans work. That's what, banks, they don't want to lose money on their houses. They own the house already unless you pay the loan off. It's just, rewatching the movie today, she got put in such a shitty situation for just trying to make a decision at work.
Yeah.
It made for a great movie, but one bad decision completely just fucked everything up.
Yeah, she's got all this weight on her shoulders to succeed, to leave her farm girl, fat girl past. She's trying to reinvent herself. She's with this guy who's a doctor coming from a wealthy family that she's trying to impress. So it's like, oh, I can't just be a bank teller or whatever. I have to prove to my boyfriend's family that I'm worthy of him. So she's got all this bull. She's in a hard spot. So it's definitely a sympathetic character because she doesn't want to do it.
No, you can tell
she begs the boss at first, if there's something we can do for her. He's like, we can't. Like Jared said, this is how we have. These are the tough decisions we have to make.
Yeah, which, if not for that decision, of course, we wouldn't have a movie. So,
Yeah.
and then
Here, you get your third extension. We don't have a movie now.
I mean, the story basically, I mean, that's the basis of the whole story.
Not drugged to hell.
But the thing is, she meets her in the damn parking lot in her car, and they go through that epic fight inside the car, and then she takes the button and gives it back to her and curses her, and then she goes through all of this different shit from a simple fly flying up her nose or whatever it was,
like to her mouth.
Yeah, and then the nosebleed scene. At some point, she gets lifted up upside down and thrown all around the room. She has to kill her cat, and she really didn't have to. Which I like that they brought that back towards the end where they're doing the seance, and the cat comes out of the mouth. I thought that was
God, yeah.
Oh, and then the great scene where she's like getting ready to sell all of her stuff, and she goes out to get her power tools and shit like that, and puts it in this box, and then Ganush shows up and puts her hand, like fucking fists her. And puts her like arm all the way down her mouth, and then of course that's the bad CG I was talking about, was when her eyes and stuff shoot out at the.
Oh yeah,
that's a bad CG shot.
Yeah,
there was a couple of them. There was definitely a couple of them.
But man, there's not like a ton of story here. I mean, most of it comes from when she visits the psychic, the seer, and then the stuff with the bank, and the douchebag that he did not say. No mustard. Just man. That guy's an asshole.
No, it was no mayo.
Yeah, no mayo.
He said
but
spicy.
Yeah, overall.
I heard the menu and I was like, I got it.
I got you, bro. I got you. Yeah.
You did not say no mayo, sir.
Overall, the story's kind of simple in this movie, but it's good because it gives us a time to just enjoy all the shit that happens throughout the whole movie with Allison, and I like that Justin's very skeptical about it. And another great dinner scene too. There's got to be a list of the best dinner scenes in horror history, because this is a good one.
Yeah,
right up there with the dinner scene in maybe not Dead Alive, but close.
I also like the morality of her passing it on to somebody else, and even though like this guy's like her worst enemy and has fucked her over so many times, in the end she can't do it and give him the button, and that's a cool. You kind of get some of that, and it follows where, do I pass this on to somebody? They're gonna die if I do.
Yeah,
so
they're
like
going to everlasting damnation if I give this to them.
Yeah.
Well, it follows. If they would have just passed it to a horror, it would have just kept passing, right? Like
somebody innocent would.
Yeah.
In some ways, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, that I do like towards the end of the movie, you get that scene in the diner where he's freaked out because he screwed her over for the job, and then of course it leads to that fight scene. But even so, like, I love that they make it seem like everything's okay after the scene in the cemetery, and she's getting the promotion. They're gonna go on this getaway.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of good stuff in this movie when it comes to the story, and the writing is really, really sharp. She also, by the way, I don't know if you heard, she changed the character's name. She's to Christine from Stephanie. It was supposed to be Stephanie. And Allison Lohman's like, no, she's a Christine. And then Sam's like, oh, yeah, she is, isn't she? So that's kind of fun. But anyway, so with Nathan's segment, we tend to talk about the cinematography and the direction of the film a little bit. I love the images, by the way. It sucks that they're kind of blacked out a little bit. It does. Looks like they just had an intimate affair. And then, of course, the photography ones.
I love that shot.
Yeah, that shot's awesome. I do like it. But Nate's going to break down a scene. Let me make sure they didn't fucking load in the right order again. That's annoying.
Well, I tried to pick something because, like I said, Sam's style, which he uses a lot. Sam's one of those directors who, from the very first movie, that's who he was. We talked. Well, I think the last episode I did was a Train to Busan, and Jared and I were talking about Asian cinema and how they are able to balance tone so well. Sam Raimi's able to do that because if you watch Evil Dead or you watch this movie, he's able to go from horror to action to comedy to drama, all in the same sequence. I mean, it's if you watch Evil Dead, you'll see it even in the Spider-Man movies. I mean, if you watch Spider-Man, you'll see someone once did an analysis of the subway chase in part 2, where you've got action, horror, drama, comedy, a lot going on, and he does that. So as horrifying as this movie gets, it gets funny, it gets dramatic, it gets romantic. You got all these things going on, and he's able to balance that because tone is like really, really important for directors to control, and he's able to just balance it so well. And his shooting style, and you'll see it in some of the frames if you have it. The cinematographer said that they wanted to make the audience feel like Christine, feel what she's going through. So she shot very often in very close extreme shots. She's usually in close up and very close up. And you see a lot of stuff from her perspective. And the scene I was going to do was the parking garage.
Yeah, I've got there's only one clip missing. And it's not. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's the one where it's
I'll just make do what I have.
I've got most of it though. It's just out of order because but I have the Facebook message, so I'm putting it in order. Keep setting it up, Nate. You're doing a great job.
Well, Sam uses a lot of different camera tricks and angles. He does Dutch. There was a couple times where he does Dutch shot, which is where you have the camera off. It's not straight on; it's off. So there's one shot where the camera's actually straight, and it's right before a Han. I think it's when she's sitting in her kitchen, and as she's turning around in her chair, the camera Dutches, and then it cuts to another shot of her getting up, and it cuts like that. So it's just throwing you off of things. He does things like that. He moves his camera around. Again, we talked about the editing that he does, very fast. Following the camera. He's also really, really good with sound. Like Evil Dead, definitely, if you think about just the odd sounds. And there's a lot in this movie where he's playing with sound and audio. Like I love that one scene where I think it's like the shadows of like the trees on the wall are moving, and she's looking, and it looks like a woman going like moving across her, like, but it looks like foliage that's shaped like a woman. Then it stops and looks at her and turns into the goat. And I always like that scene too, where the shadow under the door of the goat hoofs stomping, and then it turns into hands and comes after.
Grabs her.
A lot of cool things like that. But that's the fun thing about Raimi is he's you don't see that in a lot of stuff, and it's scary but also playful and fun, and it always ends in just extreme slapstick violence. That's the other thing. Like, he's such a big fan of the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
And so the violence in his movies, in the Evil Dead, even in Spider-Man and some of the other movies, are always like almost comical. Like if someone's getting shot or punched, they're flying through the fucking air and hitting the wall. Like there's something that's happening. So you talked about some of the fights she has where she's spinning upside down, she's getting slammed into cabinets and walls and things, punched through the mouth. I mean, there's no simple things. The woman's teeth pop out and she's biting her on the chin and mouth. I mean, he goes for the whole fucking 9 yards of extremity. Like that, just like most people wouldn't go that far, and he's not afraid to go that far with the comedy. And we don't have to do the scene.
I got it. I just there's one thing
because there's not a lot. I just like that scene because it's one of the few where it's quiet and he takes his time with it. Where everything else is very Sam Raimi crazy. Because he really developed a film language. Like the Coen brothers owe him a lot in the early days. Like, Joe Coen was the editor on the first Evil Dead movie. And when you watch like Blood Simple and Raising Arizona,
Really?
you can see some Sam Raimi influence. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You could, like, if you watch some of the shots, and especially Blood Simple, you could see the Sam Raimi influence. So, and like the Coen brothers developed a new language too with they went in their own way. They did their own things, but those three guys had some influence on each other. And probably more Sam on them than the other way around. I don't know if Joe's editing inspired Sam's editing. That's quite possible too.
Just about ready.
Okay.
That's wild.
Yeah, they wrote like what was that movie? Crime Wave? Wasn't it Sam Raimi's second movie? I think the Coen brothers wrote that movie. And that was probably...
I remember that movie. What year did that come out? Because I feel like I remember that movie.
Like 85 or so.
Yeah, early
84, 85. 84, 85, something like that. It's probably like around the time Blood Simple, or right after Blood Simple came out.
Okay. I think I've got... yeah, I think I got it. Okay.
And Sam's going to be down the road in Lexington in a couple of weeks, and
yeah. Are you going to get the chance to meet him for sure?
I have to go meet him if his line isn't too long. Yeah, they all have his Oldsmobile that his dad bought him, I think.
All right, Nate, you ready for
all
this?
but three, I think you said.
Oh, there's Seth. Just joining on your own like that. How about that? Hey, Seth.
Welcome.
How you feeling? Feeling any better?
Better. A little bit, yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting ready to start Nate's segment here. So hang tight. Autopsy of the scene. So there's only one. The first shot I'm missing one, and it's of her walking.
The wide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the scene starts.
So this is the first one I've got.
Okay, it's like I think this is right after the old woman puts the curse on her, or gets pulled out of the bank. Incident. And so she's going to her parking. She's going through the parking lot. And, they got this nice teal lighting, which is kind of what everyone does now, though. Everything's got the teal color grading. And so she's walking, she's looking, and she notices the Oldsmobile that we're talking about, the woman's car. And I love this shot because he's got it framed between the little column there and the divider. And it's this really creepy, scary shot. Because we know that car is bad news, and the music is really he's got this kind of creepy music, but he's also got those kind of Hungarian gypsy violins playing in the score.
I love it.
And the camera's going and she's looking. So again, we're really seeing, it's a quiet scene. We're watching from her point of view. She sees it goes from that shot over to her car. So we're seeing the distance between the two. So this is where I want to get, but that's how far, if she's in that fucking car, that's how far is between us. So, he's creating this geography of, and she's concerned, she's walking, she's watching the car, and she moves to her car. She gets in, and she looks over the car first. And, she looks over the car's sitting there, very ominous, very scary. I think she starts hearing like the woman coughing, making the audience say, all right, she's in the car. So she's trying to hurry up, get the keys, classic horror moment. Gets in the car, sits in the car, she sits down her stuff, and we see
her weapons.
Yeah, he's setting up the weapon that she's going to grab, the staple.
Yeah, and this leads to one of my other questions. Why does she have all this stuff with her?
I don't know. Like maybe because I don't know. Like it's like she was fired or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like she got fired.
And I don't know. Maybe
the boss from the bank told her to go home and work on the loan for the weekend.
So she's taking her stuff to work over the weekend. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jared.
Okay, so she sets her stuff there. She gets up again. tight shots, extreme shots. She's looking across the steering wheel, and then we see the handkerchief. It was on the ground. It blows up and comes floating towards her. Her eyes follow it down. It goes beneath the front of the car, and then it flies up against the windshield. She jumps back scared, goes back to her looking, and it's going around across the again, her eyes follow close up. We're with her. The handkerchief blows past the front of the window to the side. We follow her all the way around. She's watching. It goes back to the back of the car, and then the camera moves to the back, and there she is in the shadows. Great reveal. And then she leans forward, so we see that eye.
Yeah. And
then that's when all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool directional. The camera's moving in her. You're watch. Allison's eyes are moving to where we want it to see, and then he's showing us what it is. Mm-hmm. And again, it's right up in her face, keeping it intimate, keeping us with her. I don't know. It's just a great classic. Well, a lot of the classic horror trope stuff.
It's a very Sam Raimi scene too.
Yeah.
You know, the way it's directed, the way the cinematography is. So whenever I always try to guess the scene you're going to pick. Since we're doing these now, and I thought it would be this one. I thought it would be the fight scene, but I because there's a lot of different shots going on.
There's so many shots for it.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, because there's a lot going on. But yeah,
that scene there is about 20 setups.
Yeah,
and it's a simple scene. So he does a lot of setups, but he's not. That's the thing. One thing I wanted to mention about Sam. People really have a problem with jump scares. So, they want to. It's a dirty word to horror fans nowadays somehow. But Sam Raimi uses them a lot. In fact, there are 27 jump scares in Evil Dead 2, which is a shitload.
Yeah,
more than all the movies everyone hates, like all the James Wan movies and everything else. But there's a lot in this one. But that's the thing. The jump scares are there. They're always been a part of horror. Raimi uses them for scares and for laughs. It's just his movies. I hate this. People say I hate to say that, but the roller coaster effect of movies. Sam Raimi's movies are kind of that roller coaster. Funhouse. I always called it funhouse stuff. When you go to funhouse or you go to the haunted house, haunted attraction, that's all it is jump scares. People jumping out at a certain moment, misdirection. Smoke and mirrors. Sam Raimi has a bit of a magician kind of style to him. Anyway, smoke and mirrors, misdirection. I think he is a magician. I think he does magic, if I remember right.
He looks like a magician.
I think he's someone. I think he's someone who's always like. I think when he was a kid, he liked doing magic tricks, coming up with magic, and so that translates to what he does on film. So this movie is a misdirection. You're watching that handkerchief, and it leads you to the real threat, which is behind her. You're probably thinking, oh, no, she's still in the car. She's going to burst out from the windshield. Or how did she get in the back? We just heard her coughing over there.
Yeah.
But so some of the times he's breaking rules that a lot of these things shouldn't make sense. Just like we said, why is the coin and the button don't weigh the same? It's all, you can't really look at Sam Raimi's movies and say, oh, that doesn't make any sense because we wouldn't get through Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2 or any of that shit.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing against that stuff. It's just,
have fun. People don't know how to have fun anymore.
Well, I know, but my new segment was going to be about nitpicking, and I wanted it to be a nitpick bitch. So I was looking for things to nitpick at. And there's not much because you got to go into this movie and have that, kind of mindset. This is a Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah, we get a talking goat.
Yeah, right.
Called her a whore and a bitch.
Yeah.
You whore.
And not to mention
Sam
Raimi's
Sam Raimi's the guy that gave us the laughing deer head and the laughing lamp, and it's like that shit is so good. That's what made those movies so. When I saw the Evil Dead movies, I've never seen fucking anything like this, and that's why I hold them up with such regard because there's no one did. No one had done what Sam Raimi did.
No one
He was
had the
a
balls.
baby
to
when
do
he
that.
made that fucking movie.
Nobody had the balls to do that stuff. You know that's my favorite scene of the Evil Dead 2 is
Yeah, mine
laugh
too.
and go when that happens. My fucking face just lights up with bliss. You know, it's like I love that scene, and I love the way
The hand
Bruce Campbell
scene,
reacts
beating
to
them
it.
up.
Yeah,
All that stuff's so fucking classic.
everything before the other people show up is gold, in my opinion.
Yeah.
in Evil Dead
Yeah, once
2.
they show up, I lose interest in Evil Dead 2.
Me too, for the most part. You know, I hate to say that, but it's true.
It's like the first half of Full Metal Jacket. You know,
Yeah, when they get to Vietnam, it's like, oof, I'm
miss
done.
our early army.
Yeah,
Totally changes to a different movie.
well, it does. It's two different movies. And Evil Dead 2 is kind of the same way. Good thing that this one's not. Since Seth's here, are you cool? I want to get your opinion of this movie since we didn't get to hear it. What do you think of Drag Me to Hell?
I really enjoyed it. I'm someone who I've always liked Sam Raimi's style of filmmaking anyway. And it was a nice kind of like return to form for him too, because he spent so many years doing the Spider-Man movies, and he did, I mean, even before then, he did, For the Love of the Game and A Simple Plan, which is underrated. But it was nice to kind of see him go back to his horror roots for this one. And I thought it was a lot of fun. Like, my favorite scene is that fight in the car in the parking garage. And I also really like Christopher Young's score for this movie as well.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Good movie. Lots of fun. I don't see how anybody could not enjoy it. You know, it'd be a good double feature with this is the 2013 Evil Dead.
Well, you know what I saw? Because it came out in 2009. I went to the drive-in to see this a second time. Took my sister-in-law who was staying with us, and we saw this in Zombieland.
Oh,
that was same year. That was a perfect double feature.
Do you remember when we tried to do a Zombieland episode?
Yeah, we tried to. We couldn't talk about it.
We couldn't get a whole thing to talk about.
Well, there's no Sam Raimi making that movie. It's a fun movie. It's a great script, great cast. But I think we just were like, what do we talk about? Because it's hard to talk about a comedy because it's just kind of relying on that humor and everything. And that's like Zombieland is just a smart script with it's a fun, but it's just I don't know. I remember we just couldn't come up with anything to talk about.
Yeah, that's fine with me. If that was 3 years ago, I think it was the first year we were doing this.
I think we're doing both of them, weren't we? We're like,
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun movies.
They're
I
fun. I
them.
love the
Yeah.
Zombieland movies, but yeah,
Well,
Woody
it's like
Harrelson's so great.
when I told you guys I saw Zombieland, the second one. What is it called?
Double Tap.
Double Tap. Yeah, I saw that one in the theater, and I'm glad that I chose that first because I also saw. I can't think of it. I'm like Jared tonight over here. Can't remember names of this stuff. Fucking The Shining sequel.
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep. Yeah, and I saw Dr. Sleep second. I was like, I had my fun. Now I get this beautiful movie in Dr. Sleep, which I was very happy to end the night that way. So, because Dr. Sleep was phenomenal. We did talk about that at the beginning of 2021 and The Shining, I believe.
Yes.
Anyway, I don't really have anything for my segment because I already kind of did them. My little nitpicks, the button, things like that. It's not really like a movie that, as I said before, it's not one you really want to nitpick because it's just a lot of fun. It's like buckle your seatbelts. You're in for a ride with this movie, and that's one of the things I love about it. It's a Sam Raimi horror film, and there's not enough of those out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really could not understand why any Sam Raimi fan would not enjoy this movie because it was everything that made him popular and to begin with. It just didn't have Bruce Campbell in it. I mean, that was the only thing. And
I was wondering about that. Why in the hell
he was too busy doing Burn Notice.
Yeah.
Oh, so he couldn't just make a cameo?
Yeah.
I mean, he was perfect for the bank manager.
Yeah, he'd been good in there. Or even the guy
That
competing
would have
with her.
been great. That would have been great.
Or being the new guy competing with her. I could see him playing that guy.
Yeah, I could see that. What? Let's see. I was just Sam Raimi did Dark Man, of course. What was another horror movie that he made?
It's a gift count, or is that more like thriller?
It's kind of a thriller. I mean, I don't know. I mean, those Oz movies got horror elements.
Oh man, there are a couple creepy moments in that Oz movie for
Yes.
sure. I thought he made Intruder. That wasn't him.
Doctor Strange was a horror movie, really. I mean, in some ways.
Yeah, he did. He didn't direct Intruder, but he acted in it.
Was it Spiegel who directed that one? His buddy Scott Spiegel, or I can't remember who did Intruder.
I'm looking. Yeah, Scott Spiegel.
Yeah.
I mean, he's produced a lot of horror movies over the years through
Ghost House,
Yeah.
like Don't Breathe, and
Yeah.
shit, a few others.
Yeah.
No. Time Cop. The Grudge. He produced that.
Yep.
Boogeyman. That movie was terrible. The Grudge 2, The Messengers, 30 Days a Night, The Possession. Some of these kind of not very good mid-2000s horror movies. Crawl, that was okay. Poltergeist remake. Evil Dead, which is my favorite Evil Dead movie. The Unholy, Don't Breathe 2. Anyway. Oh, he produced 65.
Oh, the new one, Adam Driver movie.
Yeah, that movie looks cool.
That does look good.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that one. Anyway, so here, just because I read
Not a bad question, Bert.
Oh, you had a clip from it in that clip.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, because it's so awesome.
Yeah, it is. That's such a good ending.
Yeah. But anyway, there's one thing I do want to bring up. Is I, be doing the 5-star reviews, and I went ahead and did one for Drag Me to Hell the other day, and it's got a decent score with our followers, a 77%, which I think is pretty decent for.
If I remember right, the critics liked it. I think it's got a high Rotten Tomatoes score.
Does it? Let's find out. Rotten. Oh yeah, 92%.
92.
Yeah.
So
83% Metacritic.
that's pretty good for a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it's Sam Raimi too. I mean, I think Sam Raimi almost kind of goes beyond horror anymore because he's made movies like. I don't think it's just about his horror. I think it's sometimes it's about the actual director sometimes, And well, although this was a pretty good, well-made movie, and it's a lot of fun.
I think it's made more non-horror than horror.
Yeah, I think you're right. 26 out of 641 people gave this a 1-star rating.
And like we talked about for the show, he said that there were a bunch of people who gave Jaws a 1-star and Nightmare on Elm Street a 1-star, and I just
90 people out of 40.
I want these people to watch. I want these people to watch Lamageddon. Tell me. I want to know, because 1 is the lowest score you could give a movie.
Yep.
Right? You can't go any lower than 1. So you need to see some 1-star movies, people.
Real 1-star movies.
You need to really
1-star
watch
movies.
bad movies.
If you think A Nightmare on Elm Street is a 1-star movie.
Yeah. 74 people out of 4,800 gave it a 1-star for Elm Street. Like, are you kidding me?
I had one person respond to me once like, well, if the movie bored me, I'm totally comfortable giving it 1 star. I'm like, but y'all are so bored by everything.
Yeah.
Nothing keeps your attention anymore.
It's true. I mean, that's the way it is these days.
I could be watching Train to Busan and go, God, it was so slow.
Yeah. Oh, the Infected. Remember that whole thing? The Infected moves so slow. I was going to put something up on our Facebook about that.
The Raid had way too much character development.
So while I have you guys,
It took forever to get to the fighting.
Are we all going to get to see our Scream this weekend?
Yes.
Jared, what about you?
Negatory, good buddy. I gotta see Creed 3 first. I'm not watching Scream before Creed.
Jared.
I know. I want to watch both movies. I just don't know how. I don't think I'm gonna have enough time.
Well, we're supposed to do our Scream show next week.
Oh
Scream
shit!
6. Yeah. I've got my
Oh,
tickets for tomorrow. I'll be watching it right now. Actually, I'll probably be getting out right about now. Tomorrow, 24 hours from now. So next Wednesday is supposed to be our Scream show. If you don't see it, Jared, if you want to sit out, I think we're going to do spoilers on that episode.
No,
because their spoiler ban is through Monday, apparently. Found that out today.
I mean, that's okay.
I don't want to ruin it.
That's understandable.
Yeah, but it's like jumping on the iron while it's hot. So we'll be doing that next.
I had a choice last weekend between Creed 3 and Cocaine Bear, and I went with Cocaine Bear.
So you'll see Creed 3 before Scream 6, but you'll see Cocaine Bear before Creed 3. That's confusing.
I saw this.
It was only because Creed 3 opened last weekend, and it was going to be busy.
Okay. What were you going to say, Nate?
I was just looking earlier, Judd. Y'all talked about how Scream 6 was getting good reviews. I saw Dread Central's. I didn't read the article, but it said that Scream 6 shrugs all of the safety nets of the original series, Sydney included, while taking huge risks which pay off in spades. Scream 6 is the best sequel of the franchise, takes Ghostface to new levels.
Yeah, I keep seeing nothing but good things. I'm trying to stay.
That's what it needed, man. It needed risks. It needed to get out of its comfort zone.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah, I've heard it's fast paced. I've heard that it sounds like it takes place all in one night. Also, Halloween. Look out, Michael Myers. But I'm looking forward to it. I honestly, I'm like, why can't it be Thursday right now? I want to see this. This is probably the most excited about a Scream movie I've ever been. Because like I told, I think I told you guys, I didn't know Scream 4 was out until it came out on DVD. I saw it on the DVD, so I was like, whoa, when did this happen? How did I miss this? And then Scream 3, I was really excited about Scream 3 going into that because we had 3 years between 2 and 3, and I loved 1 and 2, and then so I was amped about 3, but something about this one, and then the first trailer, I was like, holy shit, this movie looks awesome. That shrine, there's a lot to it. I can't wait to see it. But yeah, we're gonna be covering Scream wall to wall with when it
it's
comes.
It's a weathered mask, like Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Like I want if they show Corey Cunningham under that mask. At least they'll be like in the same universe, kind of.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, that would be funny. What if it is what's that actor's name?
The actor?
Yeah, I
forget his name.
Rohan Campbell.
Rohan Campbell.
Yeah, what if Rohan Campbell was secretly cast as Billy's long lost brother or some shit? How you think that would piss people off?
Should be Rick Moranis and say, "I'm Billy Loomis's second brother's cousin's roommate."
Yeah. What does that make us? Absolutely
nothing.
That's a deep cut, Spaceballs. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be doing Scream next week. I hope everybody who's watching is prepared and gets to watch it because it will be a spoiler-filled episode. We're going into it because I want to. I hate, like when Seth and I did the Hellraiser, Hulu Hellraiser episode. It was like just a few days after it opened, and we didn't want to spoil anything, but it was so hard to get anything out. You remember that, Seth?
Yeah. We
had a hard time like talking about it. So.
Yeah, imagine that with Scream, where it's like a whodunit.
Yeah. So if you don't want to know who the killers are, if you don't want to know who the opening kill is, because that's extremely important to me, is that opening kill or opening whatever, because there wasn't a kill in the fifth movie. Any quick ideas for this movie? Any theories that you guys want to share real fast?
No.
I think it's going to be Old Man Rivers, who runs a amusement park. Scooby-Doo reference. I don't know if there's an Old Man Rivers, but like at the end of Wayne's World, it's old man such and such.
And I got away with it. It wasn't for you, kids.
Yeah, I get away with it. It wasn't for. I'm looking forward to this quite a bit. I hope I don't get disappointed. I hope it doesn't Dark Knight me. So anyway, anything else you want to talk about with Drag Me to Hell? Seth, is there anything since you missed a little bit? Is there anything you want to say? I know you got to speak your piece for a minute.
No, I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about it other than what I've already said. I mean, it's a fun Sam Raimi movie, nice return to form, and it's very entertaining for me from beginning to end. But
so okay, then let me ask this question. If there does happen to be a sequel, because that's come up, would you like to see a totally different set of characters or something to do with the same, like, people, same area? Like Justin Long, maybe.
I think it'd be cool if Justin Long returns, but I think it would ruin the impact of the ending of this one if they brought her back. So, if it's something to do with him,
Yeah.
trying to get her back or something. I don't know.
Horseshoe it in. Yeah.
Try to figure out what happened to her and leads him to getting cursed or something somehow. I don't know how they would do it. I feel like I'd want to see something completely kind of different, but the same. And you know what I mean? Like, not the same set of people.
The thing is, like, with me, like, I'm a sequel guy. I love sequels, but
Sequel Seth. That's your name now.
Yeah. I really do love sequels, and I'm all for them, and I get excited, and I'm sure I will be excited for a potential sequel to this. But this is one I definitely don't think needs one.
No, I saw that thing Keith sent over today, I was like, I don't think we need to see a sequel. Nate, what do you think? You think we need a sequel?
No, because like I said, like one of the best things about this movie is that it follows through on its promise. She's drugged to hell.
Yeah.
And so if they make a sequel, then we just know, they're gonna drag her to hell or drag him to hell or whoever it is because they have to. If they don't, then they've not fulfilled that. And I don't, I mean, I could see them saying, "Hey, let's do Justin Long because he just did Barbarian. It's kind of hot right now." Again,
he's always hot.
He's always hot, but Barbarian was such a big deal. But for what I read, Sam Raimi said that there's two guys who are trying to pitch a story, and I don't think they've landed on it yet. I don't think Raimi's doing it. Maybe he'll be producing it. But there's people pitching something to him.
Well, what else is there to say when it comes to a movie like this? Like that's okay. You don't have to anytime you want to come in. But like, like if you do a sequel that has nothing to do with the core character, from the first movie, and it just takes place somewhere else at some other time, and it's all the same type of shit happening. Like, what else we've seen everything that she has to go through before she gets dragged to hell. And I don't want to see an ending where that doesn't pay off like that did, because like I said earlier, the way that they set the ending up, it seemed like everything was okay until Justin Long pulls out the button and you're like, oh shit, so like, no, I think this one doesn't need a sequel. Jared, I do want to get what you think. I mean, you kind of already said it a little bit, but
well, I mean, you can try and create this world again, but at the same time, it's just going to turn into an anthology. It's just going to be a one-off story. I mean, and it's not going to be beneficial or financially rewarding doing it that way because you've already done this.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just going to be
it made $90 million on a $30 million budget.
We're going to have another episode of the Twilight Zone.
It didn't crank at the box office or anything like that, so it's not like it's going to make a big payday. Like maybe
it wasn't overwhelmingly good.
Yeah,
no.
Maybe like an Evil Dead Rise might be. By the way, I'm getting pretty excited about that movie too. So
I saw the trailer when I saw Cocaine Bear, and I'm getting more and more on board
There was a person we went and
Still
saw.
getting there.
We went and saw Ant-Man. They had the trailer for that, and there was a couple of jumps, and one person let out a audible scream during the fucking trailer for that. And I'm like, okay, I'm excited.
That's kind of crazy that they played that trailer during Ant-Man. Like,
Yeah, I know.
Right?
There's children in Ant-Man. Like, that's a scary trailer.
Yeah, but let me tell you what, Nate. I had
children
Helena
in Cocaine
here.
Bear too.
I had Helena here. I had Reynolds here, and they both turned to me and goes, "Are we gonna go see that?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, yes. I'm like, my kids. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. So, yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll cut out for the night. It was a pretty fun episode as usual. Yeah, actually, Ash vs. Evil Dead's a really damn good show.
Yes,
I don't think you need to watch that to be prepared for Evil Dead Rise.
Mm.
And that's one question I want to ask: is Evil Dead Rise, is it a standalone kind of thing like the 2013 movie, or is it in the same universe? Are they all in the same universe?
Is it supposed to be? Yeah, I think it's supposed to be connected, isn't it?
To the 2013?
Although in the trailer, the Necronomicon looks nothing like the Necronomicon.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't remember seeing that.
I don't think it's an exact. Yeah, I was thinking it was a reboot. I didn't think it was a add-on to the 2013 one.
The Deadites look similar to the 2013 Deadites.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there's a difference between Raimi's, you know, where they had the pure white eyes, and then the 2013 and the new one. But I mean, I think Nate mentioned the Necronomicon. Like, it's got like bones for like teeth, like when it closes. I don't know if you noticed that. Like when you watch the trailer, it doesn't have a face on it, so it's like it's its own. It seems like its own separate thing, but the Deadites seem like they're inspired by the 2013. So
I wonder if there's something we don't know about this. Yeah, I love Evil Dead. Mostly 2013. That's my favorite.
There's a lot I don't know about Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah. I mean, Friday the 13th, Jason goes to hell apparently as part of the Evil Dead lore, because the Necronomicon was there in the Voorhees house. That's probably how he came. So Jason's a Deadite. Anyway.
Oh, shit.
So that's a whole other conversation for another day. So I'll remind everybody one last time to subscribe to the Horror Syndicate on YouTube, and if you haven't already, like us on the Facebook, where we go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Drag Me to Hell got a 77%, and then we are talking about Scream 6. They actually gave it a number. I like the way they're titling now. It's Roman numerals instead of the actual, 6. That was me tracing a 6. Anyway, last 3 comments, and then we're gonna go. It's all Luke, so never mind. 2013. Anyway, this has been the Horror Syndicate Discourse, and we will see you next Wednesday with a spoiler review and breakdown of Scream. We're going to try to break it down. Scream 6 next week. So everybody have a great weekend, and go see Scream so you can hang out with us next Wednesday. Bye.
We have such sights to show you.
Hell yeah.